This is Julia Trabucco on March 25th, 2026 at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, interviewing Carlos de Dios for the Voices of Southern Methodist University project. This interview is being recorded using Zoom, and I am located on the SMU campus in Dallas. And Carlos, where are you located?
I'm at home here in Dallas as well.
Thank you. To begin, could you start off by establishing your connection to SMU? What year did you graduate in, and what kind of degree did you obtain, and what was your field of study?
Yeah, so I graduated SMU with my undergrad in 2024 with a Bachelor's in Business Administration and specifically in accounting. And then in 2025, I graduated with my master's in accounting as well.
Thank you. To start the interview, we are going to go a little further back and talk about your childhood. Could you please tell us when and where you were born?
Yeah, I was born here in Dallas, Texas. I've been here my whole life, so I'm a native to Dallas.
Thank you. What was your neighborhood like growing up?
It was pretty good. Like we were middle class my whole life, so I wasn't I would say it was pretty normal, nothing out of the ordinary. I like how I grew up, surrounded by a lot of Hispanics, a lot of African Americans, a lot of Americans. Like it was good. It was a good mix of everything.
Yeah. What about your family? What was that like?
It was good. My parents, they came here from Mexico over 25 years ago, and they sacrificed a lot to be able to to be able to give my sister and I a better life. My mom's a teacher, my dad is an engineer, and they've just worked really hard. They've been honestly my inspiration every day to be better. One of my biggest goals in life is for them just to be proud of me, and everything I have is because of them.
Yeah. What role did that culture maybe play into your life growing up that your parents brought over?
I would say the biggest things that they brought over and were able to instill in my sisters and I was discipline, hard work, and being humble. Honestly, that's all that I ever saw. My dad is the hardest working person I know. Same thing with my mom. She's very honest, very caring. She is the number one person I think of when it comes to integrity. And those are things that they instilled in my sisters and I think those are very important things that we could carry on through our whole journey in life.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Did you have any siblings?
Yes, two sisters. I have one that's 21 years old and she goes to the University of Texas in Austin. And I have a younger sister who is 12 years old and she is in seventh grade.
What did a normal day look like growing up?
A normal day, so all of us played sports. So we'd wake up early, get ready for the day, and then we would go to school. Usually, I always had soccer practice or something at the school, and then for my club team. And then afternoon, we usually all ate together. My dad usually got home from work pretty late, and with my mom being a teacher, it was flexible that she was able to take us to our activities. But something that we always did was have dinner together, pray before going to sleep, and that was something that I really liked doing growing up.
Yeah. What was high school life like for you, and where did you go to high school?
I went to high school at Newman Smith in Carrollton, Texas, and I had a really good time in high school. I got to learn a lot about myself. I had to mature a lot. Before I had a car, I always had to walk to school. Once I had a car, I started driving. For 1 year, my sister was a freshman while I was a senior, so it was pretty cool having her there. We drove to school together, we drove home together. She would go to my soccer games, I would go to her school events, and it was very good. I really liked high school, honestly. It was a great time in my life. I matured a lot and grew as a person.
Yeah. Uh, how would you describe race relations growing up? Did you see any maybe issues or maybe controversial topics growing up?
Honestly, me personally, my parents always taught me to never look to be the victim. My parents
Mhm.
always taught me to love everyone, to be respectful of everyone. If there's somebody you don't like, always try to understand their point of view. That's the biggest thing. So I never really focused on those things. I know they existed, but I always try to be empathetic towards everyone and never judge and just get to know people because you never know what people are going through. You never know their struggle. It doesn't matter what their background is, their ethnicity, their gender, their age, whatever. Basically, just to respect everyone.
Yeah. Um, my next question, what prompted you to attend education after high school? I know you mentioned that maybe your mother was a teacher and that your parents did influence you quite a lot. Did that maybe influence your decision to attain higher education?
Yeah, so from a young age, my parents always valued education. They made it a habit to always. Can you understand? Do you see me? Is the connection good? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, from a young age, my parents always instilled the values of education. They made it a priority for my sisters and I that we had to go to college. There was no ifs, ands, or buts. And I remember when I was younger, that frustrated me a little. But at the end of the day, it was the best investment I ever made. Again, my parents were always very present. They always helped me in school the best they could. And at the end of the day, they sacrificed so much for me. And for me, it was like the only way to pay them back was to get an education. I always wanted to go to SMU when I was younger. After high school, I went to community college for a few years, but my goal was always to go to SMU. And again, my parents just instilling that discipline in me to always work hard in school, how important school is. Yeah, there's other ways to be successful. Not it doesn't always have to be the traditional way of going to college, but I thought that was the best option for me, and I do not regret it for 1 second.
Yeah. You said that you always had that goal of SMU. What was SMU's reputation amongst your community growing up?
Yeah, so when I was in high school, everyone's goal was just to graduate. If you even went to community college, you were seen as a success. And if you went to a four-year university, you were seen as, wow, the 1%. And for me, I've always wanted to be that 1%. And everyone in Carrollton Farmers Branch knows that SMU is one of the best, if not the best school in Texas. So I always strive towards that. Every time I heard of someone that went to SMU, they were either successful, wealthy, or just very smart. And I wanted to be part of that community. So it was always my goal to go to SMU. Unfortunately, right out of high school, I was not able to go, so I had to go to community college first. But thankfully, I worked really hard, was able to get good grades, was able to get a lot of scholarship money, and was able to transfer to SMU.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Would you say that you were maybe well informed and prepared for the college admissions and the financial aid processes? I know you said that you went into um, a community college first, but what was that experience like for you?
Yeah, honestly, my high school did a really good job of informing us. They put everything in front of us, so it was just up to us to act. So I give a lot of credit to Newman Smith High School and then Dallas College specifically. I went to the Richland campus. And yeah, they were very helpful. They honestly helped me a lot. All the academic advisors, they really helped me put my foot in the door. They gave me all the resources. It was just up to me to act. And I'm very, very thankful for my high school, for my community college. Thanks to them, I was able to go to SMU.
Yeah. What were your expectations coming into SMU?
Honestly, I was very excited and very confident in myself. And it was a huge change from community college. In community college, I feel like it's a little bit you have a little bit of everyone there. Some people their goal is just to get their associates. Some people don't finish. Some people go just for fun. But there's not as many people whose goal is to go past their associates, whether it's to get a bachelor's, to get a master's, to go to SMU, to go to a 4 year, to go to a private school. So it was definitely interesting.
Yeah. Um, what I see here that you got an associate's of science and a community college. Was that your goal going in? Did your mind change a little bit after, or was that always the goal?
No, definitely. Like they say that life is never linear, that your plan always changes. And I used to think that was just very cliche, but it's very true in my case. When I started college in community college, I was actually an electrical engineering major. I wanted to be an engineer just like my dad. And he would tell me every day, Carlos, we know you don't like engineering, just do something you like. But I just kept lying to myself, saying, I'll pursue engineering. Until once I was going to have to transfer to SMU and have to pay tuition and all that stuff, I thought that I needed to make an adult decision and pursue something I like, something that I was genuinely going to like to do for the next 30 years. So I talked to a few friends and they told me just take an accounting class, take a finance class, see what you like and go from there. So in community college, my last semester, I took an accounting class and I fell in love with the material. I enjoy the whole business side of life. None of my parents are business owners, so I never had that experience growing up, but I really enjoyed the accounting and the finance and supply chain management world. And so that's what made me switch over to accounting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then could you please repeat what years you attended SMU?
Yes, I started the fall of 2022 and I graduated my undergrad spring of 24 and then with my master's degree spring of 2025.
How welcoming was the school when you first arrived?
It was very welcoming actually, and I've never met anybody that was disrespectful, that was mean. Everybody welcomed me with open arms, whether it was professors, faculty, staff, students, clubs, everyone. It didn't matter where it was. I personally never had a negative experience. I was in several clubs, I was in several activities, and again, I had a great time with everyone there.
Yeah, what were some of those clubs and activities that you mentioned?
Yeah, one of them was SHIP, was engineering for Hispanics, and I had a really good time there. Another one was Hola, which was another Hispanic organization. And again, it was just very welcoming, very fun, made lots of great friends. So it was a very great experience.
Yeah, what was your social life like on campus? And what was like that culture like?
So for me, I lived at home my 3 years at SMU. So it was a little tricky. It was a little hard to be part of the social life there because I would have to drive 45 to 50 minutes in the morning, and then usually my classes were in the morning because I had to work in the afternoons. And then so I couldn't stay. It was either stay all day from 7, 8 in the morning till 8 in the afternoon and not work. So it was a little tricky. I wasn't the best at being social, but again, I still had a great time.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. What role did social media play in this campus community while you were a student here?
Yeah, so I followed a lot of the social media pages on Instagram, like specifically the SMU soccer team, the football team, some of the clubs, and they were very informing. They always let us know about events. The SMU Instagram in specific would always let us know about FAFSA, about events, about scholarship applications, about events that were going on. So I think the social media aspect at SMU was very helpful.
Yeah. Could you walk me through a typical day here as a student?
Yeah, so I usually had morning classes, so I would show up around 30 minutes before my 8 a.m. class at 7:30, would walk into class, do my class, go to my next class. Usually I was taking 2 to 3 classes a day, and usually I would have lunch in between, hang out with some friends. If I ever needed extra help with my classes, I would stay a few minutes after with one of my professors and talk to them. And then in the afternoons, if I didn't have to work, I would try to stay for a social activity. I would go to the football games on the weekends or a basketball game if it was a Tuesday afternoon, a volleyball game. That was a typical day for me.
Yeah. What was your most memorable experience here as a student?
Honestly, it was just being in on campus, being in the classrooms. Again, from when ever since I was 12, 13 years old, I wanted to go to SMU. It was always my dream to go. So I cherished every second of it. So I know some people might say the football games or or random social activities. For me, it was just being there, being on campus, being in the classrooms with smart, successful people, with great professors. That was my favorite experience.
How well did you feel that the Latina community was represented at SMU during your time here?
I actually think it was well represented. They were given a lot of opportunities to express themselves, to host events, whether it was on campus or off campus. I think they did a very good job.
Yeah. Earlier you mentioned that you majored in accounting. Is that correct?
Yes.
How did race relations manifest in that department?
Say that again.
How did the race relations manifest into that department?
Oh, again, there weren't many Hispanics in the accounting program, but in my opinion, everyone felt very accepting. At least I did. The professors were very kind, very patient, they were just great. I didn't feel like I got treated differently along with any of the other Hispanics, so it was a great experience at least in the accounting department.
Uh, did you see anything maybe controversial on campus during your time here, maybe to do with race relations or not?
Honestly, didn't. Again, I always tend to just be very neutral and see both sides of every story, but from my experience in my 3 years at SMU, I never saw any issues in that aspect.
Yeah. Did you have any mentors here during your time at SMU?
I honestly didn't. Like the thing with mentors for me is that I try to take the good and the bad from everybody and just decide what to do at the end of the day. So I couldn't specifically say one mentor, but every professor I had, every academic advisor, even friends, I tried taking the good of everyone. I tried taking everyone's advice.
What do you believe gave you the most support to attain your degree?
Honestly, I would say the professor specifically in the accounting department, specifically the director of the master's in accounting.
Mhm.
He was very supportive, very patient. He gave me all the information I needed. He was a great man, and he's still there, which is great, Professor Somers, and I'm really thankful for him.
Yeah, that's amazing. Um, what do you believe may have limited your success here as a student?
I would say it was, I would say it was just my upbringing, the fact that that like when I went to community college, it was a completely different type of culture there compared to SMU. Again, like I mentioned earlier, at community college, some people go just for fun, some people go just to get an associate's, some people go for a semester and don't go back. Everyone that I met at SMU had huge goals outside of SMU. So it was just a completely different culture, honestly, compared to community college. The classes are way harder, way more intense, even though the professors are a lot more, I would say, patient. They're a lot better. But at least for me, it was just a huge transition from going to public school my whole life and then going to community college and then transferring to, again, to me, the best university in Texas and one of the best in the country. It was hard. But again, that's completely on me. Just, yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. Is there anything at all that you may believe could have helped you more in your journey at this school?
Honestly, no. I know that sounds a little cliche, but SMU did was amazing. Again, they gave you everything in my opinion. They put everything on a silver platter. It's just on us, the students, to take advantage of those opportunities. They interview prep you. They help you with your resume. They give you, they offer career fairs. They offer emotional support. Everything. Again, SMU gives you everything in my opinion. It's just on us, the students, to act on it.
Yeah. What encouragement did the school really give you to act on those things?
I'd say the alumni network, just seeing that so many of the alumni that go to SMU, that graduated from SMU, they all go on to have successful careers at huge companies, whether they're also entrepreneurs and just anything they do. I think that's the biggest motivator, just seeing all the alumni, how successful they are, just the connections there.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Is there anything at all you believe students, faculty, or administration could do better or continue doing on SMU campus?
I think just continuing everything they do, like with the social, with social media, they do a really good job at exposing all of the options they have for the students, all the help, whether it's tutoring, whether it's interview prep, whether it's help with your resume, career fairs. Again, I don't know of other universities that literally they give you so many opportunities. They throw it in your face and it's just on us to act. So if SME just continues to do that, we're in a good spot.
I see that you went to SMU Cox School of Business after graduating. What made you choose to do that?
So again, like when I was in community college, I was trying to become an electrical engineer, but I never liked it. I was never in love with engineering. I was just doing it to try to make my dad proud. But again, when I was going to transfer to SMU, I had to make an adult decision and do something I like. And that just ended up being accounting. I love the whole business aspect of life. I love the accounting, and that's what made me go into SMU Cox. And on top of that, it's a very exclusive school. It's known to have some of the smartest people, and I've always wanted to be part of that group. So being part of SMU Cox was one of the best experiences I had.
Yeah. How was your transition into professional life upon completing your schooling?
Honestly, it's been very smooth. SMU really prepares you for that. When I was recruiting for an internship, again, SMU just made it super easy. They helped me with my resume. They helped me with interview prepping. They put career fairs out there. I had so many resources at SMU. It was just on me to act on it. So whenever I went into interviews, I was very confident in myself. I was very sure in myself, and it was very easy. Once I was able to get internship offers, SMU just helped me decide on that. And then once I graduated and went on to the real world, everything has been very smooth, and it's all thanks to SMU.
Yeah. Could you share a little bit more about that internship?
Yeah, so I interned the summer of 2024 at Deloitte, one of the big four accounting firms, specifically here in the Dallas office. And yeah, it was honest. Getting the internship was very easy again because of SMU. When I applied, when I got an interview, when I went to go interview, I think I did very well because SMU really prepped me for that. And then when I interned, I was honestly nervous for the internship itself because I had never had a corporate internship. But everything I was doing at Deloitte, I learned in my accounting classes, I learned in just a bunch of the other classes I took at Cox. So I was really prepared, in my opinion, compared to some of the other people I interned with that were at other universities.
Yeah. I see that you were awarded the IRS Volunteer of the Year. What did it mean to get that award?
It was honestly an awesome experience. Thanks to my professor at the time, Wendy Wilson, she offered it. And at first, it was just for extra credit. So I did it. It was, I think, a minimum of 20, 25 hours to get the extra credit, but I ended up doing like 50 or 60 hours. It was a great experience just helping people out, specifically in West Dallas, which was majority Latinos. So it was great to be able to help them with their taxes, with their tax returns. And I never expected to get that award. I didn't even know it was a thing. And then one day I saw that I was nominated for it. And again, it was thanks to my professor, Wendy Wilson. And it was a great experience again. And then just being able to get acknowledged for it made me very happy.
Yeah. As you reflect back on your time at SMU, how do you feel about it?
It was the best investment I've ever made, honestly. It was the school I always wanted to go to since I was a little kid. I was able to complete one of my life goals, which is to go there, get a degree, and on top of that, even get a graduate degree. And I'm very prideful that I went to that school. I think it is the best school in the country. I'm very happy that I'm an alumni from there.
Yeah, thank you so much. I know you feel that SMU really did help you prepare for your professional career, as in getting you ready for interviews and such. Did you use any maybe connections that you had made at SMU to further help you push your professional career off the ground?
Yeah, of course. I think it really helped when I was going through recruiting that a lot of the people at Deloitte went to SMU. So I was able to connect with them on LinkedIn, was able to catch up with them outside of school at the time, outside of school for me, outside of work for them. And so again, that alumni network from SMU is very helpful. It is very underrated. I feel like people don't take advantage of it as much as they used to. So just having those connections in the real world help out.
Yeah. What other lessons did you take from your time at SMU and apply to your work now?
I'd say the biggest thing I learned was to surround yourself with people that you want to be like. So there's a saying that you are the five closest people that you surround yourself with, and I think that is very true, especially at SMU. Everyone has huge goals to become successful, to work at a big company or to be an entrepreneur. So basically just surrounding yourself with great people. I think that is the one thing I took away from SMU.
Yeah. Since finishing school, what does life look like for you now?
Yeah, so right now, currently, I'm studying for the CPA exam. I have one exam left, and that all started because of SMU. And right now, I go to work. I really enjoy my job, and just taking life one day at a time.
Yeah. Do you have any regrets at all?
No, not at all.
If you could go back and do things differently, would you?
No, I wouldn't. I've thought about that sometimes if I would have just started as an accounting major from the beginning. But the lessons I learned in community college while trying to become an engineering major, it made me the person I am today. So I do not regret anything. I wouldn't go back and change anything.
Do you wish any of your circumstances had been different coming into SMU or maybe growing up?
No, not at all. Because again, they made me the person I am today. The way my parents raised me, the environment I grew up in, it made me the person I am today. Yeah, like yes, there were some tough moments in life, but those made me into the man I am today, and I don't regret them at all.
Do you remain involved with SMU at all?
Yes, actually, my girlfriend and I, we go to a lot of the events there. We're part of the alumni network. She's very involved, and I try to help out as much as I can.
Yeah. If you could go back and tell your younger self one thing, what would you tell them?
To It sounds very cheesy, but to just not give up. Because there were times when life got tough, but I always knew I was going to get out of it thanks to God and my family's support. And so just to never give up.
Yeah. Do you still keep in touch with any friends from SMU or maybe professors?
Yeah, of course. There's three professors in specific that I talk to very frequently, and a lot of the people that I went specifically went to graduate school with at SMU, I talk to a lot. A lot of them work here in Dallas at the other accounting firms or at financial institutions. So yeah, I still keep in contact with a lot of them.
Yeah. Um, and then last question, is there anything that you feel I may have missed and you would like to further discuss?
No, not at all, Julia. You did great.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for participating in our project. And I hope that you do well on your exams.